Alright everybody, let's see here. So I punched some of the scrap paper. I finished the matting. My camera died, so I just did that by myself. And I punched some of the scraps into butterflies with my Martha Stewart butterfly punch, and then I doubled those with vellum, inked the edges with the Dusty Concord, and then just use a little vine stamp with the Dusty Concord also. So that is going to be part of the charm, I think. I also had one of these metal frames, and I cut one of the butterflies, and I used this Stampin' Up! Fine tip glue pin, but it's the same thing as Glossy Accents. Actually, I think Glossy Accents is a little smoother. This is kind of crackly. So that will be something for the charm, and then I've got some other charm stuff, but let's finish the decorations here before we get into the charms, or let's finish the pages and the mats and the tags before we get into the extra decoration. So I think I need to resize all my photo mats, but first let's attach the pages. And I backed both sides of the 1/2-inch hinges with score tape. And I don't know if you guys realize, I totally forgot to mat this back page, and I had something cut for it, but I used it for something else because I didn't realize it, so I just pieced it together, and it still looks good. So if you need to, that is an option. Okay. And you just slide these pages right down on top of your hinges and push them down. And I am so close to being out of paper. I have all the cut aparts still, which is one page of 3x4 cut apart, so 12 3x4 cut aparts, and then some other, those they look like, they almost look like traveling posters like you would get from a travel agent office, but they are for like space and stuff, so they're pretty neat. So I definitely want to use them in here. And we're going to decorate some of the tags and some of the mats with those, because you have a lot of space in here for pictures, but you can take the tags and the mats and use those elements on them and still have the backs to put photos on. And this collection is light enough, like 80% of the paper is light enough that you could just write on it, like this here. That pattern is light enough. If you got a black pen to write on that, it would be absolutely fine. And then the other thing we could always do is staple some vellum to it and write on the vellum, but then you'd still be able to see the design underneath. You could tape the vellum on and then cover it with a ribbon or some seam binding. Maybe I'll go through and count how many spaces we can put photos after this. I never do that. I probably should. Then I'll show you, after I get the mats all done, I'll show you the things that I got for the charms that I just had in my stash. Of course, I've been collecting things for a long time, so My dog wants something and I don't know what, but he's like making all sorts of noise in the background, trying to get my attention. But he's been out. He's been fed. He's had his medicine. He has water. I don't know what he needs. And he doesn't need it that much because he would be like annoying me. He would be persistent. Alrighty. So let's fit these tags because I think I originally cut them at, I may have said this on, I'll fix it if I said this. I originally cut them at 7.5 by 5.5, and they need to be cut down considerably. I'm thinking that's a 1/2 inch. Let's cut a 1/2 inch off and see where we are. I'm thinking they need to be like, let's do 5 by 7 and see what that looks like. I think I'd feel better with a 5 by 7. And it kind of makes sense. So I'm going to stub punch this here. I'll go ahead and do this side too. I'm sure it's not going to be any smaller. Okay. I like that because you can still see just a sliver of the paper behind it. So tags have been changed to 5 by 7. We'll write that down. Tags or mats 5 by 7. Okay. So what I'm telling you guys, I tell you guys the right thing. So I'm going to take these 7 and cut them down. Confused about which pile's which. Okay, so now I was thinking, because I have these cut aparts here, that maybe this I'm going to put on the back, so that's going to sit. But I have all these cut aparts, excuse me, so I was thinking maybe I could put some on the tags, like put a cut apart here, and then you could put a picture there, and you could still journal on the cut apart if you wanted to. And then there's the whole back. So I think I am going to do that. I'm happy with that. So if you cut these straight, you can punch them all at the same time. But I don't feel that confident about that. I'll take a few at the same time. So the only thing that I may consider is like backing that with vellum, but I'm not going to because I don't want to add another layer there. I think I'll just put it down just the way it is. And then the other thing you could do, this is a 3x4, so you can absolutely add another 3x4 there, or a photo or a journaling spot. And it still tucks down. You can't see the card when it's in the pocket. And you still have the whole back of it that you could put a photo on. See, now this one's sticking out just a little bit further. I'm going to go ahead and trim like a 1/16 off of that. Just because I really want to be able to see that paper behind there. I'm going to put this in this way. There. I like that. Okay. Let's try this one before I glue it down. Yeah, see, I think I still need like a 1/16 off of that one. And it depends on how far I put the pocket or the page over the hinges too. So I love these kind of parts. It's quite awesome. Okay. My dog wants outside. Yeah, see how that peeks through? That's exactly what I want. Okay, so now that one fit without trimming. And we could alternate what side we put the cut parts on. Didn't think about that. Go ahead and put this one over here. Which I suppose you could turn it whatever way you want. Okay. Make sure that I still have. Oops. That one comes out all right. And I'm just using the regular 3x4s, not the, this one says all we have is us. So, I'm not going to use that one just because I don't know, you know, what this is going to be used for. So, it can be used for anything, and that's pretty specific. This one says take a walk on the wild side, so that's vague. This one says let's run away, so I'm going to leave that one. Make sure. I'm going to take like a smidget off this one too. I just want to be able to see that background paper. Okay, this one says shine. I'm not going to have any paper left after this album, so those two that I don't, that I'm not going to glue on, I'll just stick in a pocket. Just in case, you never know what the album will be used for. I mean, it could be perfectly. This one. this one's gonna take a bit more off than 16th. So I'm gonna take a little bit on both sides here, so I don't mess up my deco punch. Okay. So this one says all the feels. I think we're safe with that one. That has different meanings, different connotations. Alright. Yeah, that's good. Last big tag here. I'm gonna have to trim it. Yeah, I'm gonna trim it just a bit. And it may very well be that I cut it crooked too, so yeah, never know. Let's try that. That's better. Okay, so we used 8. We set 2 aside. That's 10 of just the 3x4s. And then I have 1 that I'm going to put on the back of the book. So there should be 1 more regular 3x4 somewhere. We'll find it. It's somewhere in this pack. I think. These are those poster ones I was talking about. Okay, I don't have another one. I don't know where it went. This one I'm going to mat on some black cardstock, and I want to put it right here on the back. Just because I like it. You can always make a tag out of it if you want. Or a pocket. But I think if I was going to like label this book, I would label it like right here. Like name, subject, year, time. So, if you guys ever want me to put pictures in one of these albums, I may not put it in the exact album, but I'll make another one and show you how to decorate it. I do have a couple albums that if you go through my playlist, they show with pictures, and I've done one of my small albums, I did like a time-lapse video while I was decorating it. Okay, so next I want to put a charm on it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So in between the 4th and 5th page, I use my hole punch, my big We Are Memory Keepers hole punch, and it is a tight fit, you guys, but it will go over all these layers. And then the first hole you make sure is right in the middle of that hinge, with your teeth all the way to the edge. It's about 1.5 inches or so in. Make your hole, scoot back about halfway. You don't need too much room between it, and do it again. And then grab 2 thingies, eyelets, and put the furthest one in first. Punching the hole's the hard part, guys. And don't push too hard, because you don't want to like totally squish it. You just want to flatten it a bit. Alright, so then you have this 2 holes, and you can run chain through there. You can run oh, what do you call it? Ribbon. I have to get some chain, so we'll do that next. But I'm going to go ahead and set these 2 eyelets. This is going to be for the closure. And I'm going to put it right here. Flip this book over, and I'm going to eyeball it and put one in about the same place on the other side. Without punching holes through the pages. So let's say right about there. And then do the same with the eyelets. Punching the holes is the hard part. Setting the eyelets is the easy part. Just, you can always go back and put more pressure on it, but you can't always, well, you can never go back and put less pressure on it. So be easy. Alright. So there's the eyelets. I was going to put some silver corners on the front to go along with the awesome holographic designs here. What do you think? 2 or 4 corners? 2 corners. Just 2 corners. So I have some E6000. And I now purchase E6000 in these little tubes because I bought the big tubes and it dried up. I only use like 1/8 of it because I don't use it very often. So these metal corners I've had for a long time. And they're very thin. And they're debossed on the back. So I'm just trying to get enough glue on it without getting too much. And then super easy, you just line it up. I think that looks good. I think I should put them on the back too. I got 4 sitting here. Let's do that. I got all the stuff out. Let's do it. Isn't the fun part decorating? I think the least fun part is putting it together. I like putting the paper on, the pattern paper, and I like decorating it. While I'm putting glue on it, let's let that dry for a minute. Oh, it'll be alright. I don't know. I guess as long as I don't mess it about, it should be okay. Or I'll just open it like this. There we go. That was smart. I was thinking this one is bent. I gotta bend it back or it's not gonna touch. I told you they're very thin. That one I may have to smash. What have I got? Let's smash it now. Let's smash it before got my magnet package so I don't leave marks in it. That's about as flat as it's gonna get. I have a pair of needle nose pliers over there for beading. It's a good thing to have around, I think. Alright guys, so where's my E6000 oozing all over the place? This one's bent too. Let's see if I can. I'm just kind of dabbing this on here so it kind of fills all the debossed areas. And then I'm going to set it aside and let it dry really good so that I don't move them by messing it about. Okay, here we go. I like it, you guys. It's been forever since I put book corners on something. Or, these aren't really book corners, but you know, any kind of corners. Decorative or otherwise. Alright, let that dry. Okay, so I wanted to show you the large butterfly that I made, and I have a video on this. I have some strung beads, and then it has a loop on the end. I don't know what that's called. And I used E6000 to glue these beads on here. I think in the other video I used hot glue. But the little ones I haven't done yet. The difference between the little ones and the big ones is I'm going to use little pearls instead of those big beads on those. So I just have these flower stamen, and I use my Martha Stewart butterfly punch like I said before. One on the paper and then one on some stamped vellum. Whoops. Before you put the vellum on, you're supposed to put these little thingies here. These are a bit long for this size. Cut them down. And I'm going to add, I think I cut the one twice. I'm going to add the big one to the spine as one of the charms. Just another way you can use the paper. And these little ones, I'm not sure yet, so we'll just see, I guess. So after you got the little flower stamen in there, just dab the top with glue and place the vellum on top, right in the middle, just in the middle. There we go. used all over the place. Alright, we'll let that sit and see how it is when it dries. Vellum's funny because when you get glue on it, it curls up. And the more glue you get on it, the more it curls. So you may be forced to set something on top of it, which is going to cause it to stick more than, you know, in more places than you want, but I think it's like the lesser of two evils, so we'll just do that. Okay, so these are still drying. Let's do some tags. So on each page, the project's almost done. It should be getting like cleaner, but my desk just keeps getting messier. So each page has a pocket, and I made tags for each pocket. And the first ones are 4.5 by 4.5. And you can use any punch that you want, or you can leave them square, or you can just round the corners. I'm going to use this angle punch, which kinda makes it look like a tag. Along with that, I am going to use a sounds like I'm going to use a eyelet. My goodness. So the same way I did the book, I'm going to do the tags. I got both of them here. I just measured them to make sure that I'm punching in the middle. I just punched it with the wrong size hole. Okay. And then I have so not straight. It's okay. I have eyelets here sitting on this desk somewhere. Or not. I have this little case from the paper studio. Let's use the shiny ones. I have these ones that are shaped like flowers. I have 8-10 tags, and I don't think I have enough of these. Let's count. 3. Here's a round one. I can use round ones too. 4. Definitely want the shiny ones though. Oh look, there's another flower one. Ouch. There's another round one. Flower. Round. Round. So there's 4 and 4. I need 2 more. It looks like they're going to be round. And I think I have depleted my shiny eyelets. Note to self. Get more shiny eyelets. And then just as the other ones, and less pressure on these, like hardly any. Okay, a little bit more than that apparently. These two are going to be the same. Oops. Oh, I smashed it. It's going to stay smashed because I don't have any more, and I'm going to cover it up with ribbon so you won't see it. Okay. page 2 also, there's 2 tags. One for page 2 and one for page 6. And these tags measure 5 by 3 3/4. And I'm going to do the same thing. I keep punching them with the wrong size hole. And I'll do the round ones. Remember earlier when I said the eyelet was the easy part? Oh, round one. So the first one's for this pocket. These 2 are for these pockets that flip up. I'm going to put some string and stuff in them. Oh, I can't lose it. So I don't want to put them in there yet. Of course I wouldn't be able to find it. Alright. I'm going to measure the other 2 size pockets for you. Then I have to crawl around on my floor and find that. Found it. Jeez, okay. And then this pocket has, that's page 3 and 7, 6 by 4 1/2. Punch the right size. Well, that one totally just alright, this one's going to be brushed silver because that one's smashed. There we go. Know what I was thinking. Alright, that one's going to be brushed silver also. And this is for the last page here. this one, the side pocket here, measures 4¼ by 3, and the top pocket measures 4¾ by 2¾ That's why it's the wrong size. I couldn't figure it out. Well, now that's better. Okay, so we're almost done. I'm going to put the closure on here, and I'm going to use this gray seam binding from Country Craft Creations, and I chose gray because it's dark and it will be handled. So I just double loop the seam binding around and then scrunch it up and put it through the inside hole. And then right back through there. And you got a good size length. And then on the ends, if you want, I'm going to leave them long but the same length. Cut that little extra off, and then you can just tie them in a knot, just in case they start fraying. And if they do start fraying, that will stop it. And you can always hang a charm from one of those knots, which I may do. And I'm going to use the same gray for the back. And these colors match perfectly. Just double it up, scrunch it so you can put it through the hole. I always start on the inside and go out. There we go. was not straight. There we go. And then wrap around, tie in a knot. And this one. Alright, there we go. So we kind of got a double closure there. You can tie it in a nice big bow. Good with that. While we're doing stuff like that, let's put some seam binding and such in our tags. Actually, instead of using seam binding on the tags, I'm going to use some of this eyelet trim, or eyelash trim, not eyelet trim. I got it at the thrift store. And it's not the easiest thing to work with as far as threading it through tags, but I'm going to take a double layer here and do the same thing, going through the back of the tag, pulling it through, finding the holes, and then pulling it up, just like that, and then giving it a good trim, because that was way too big. But I think that's going to give it a nice effect. So I'm going to do that to all these tags. I will not make you watch me do that. I think that, whoops, I just pulled one out. Okay, so I'm going to do that to all the tags. But before I do that, let's finish our little butterflies here. They're still drying. Now I'm going to put a bead of glue up the middle, because through that vellum you can see the stamen thingies. And then I got blue and white beads. Those may be purple, I'm not sure. I got these beads, these are half back self-adhesive pearls. I don't trust the adhesive. If it was on flat paper, I'd trust it. I don't trust it for on this, because this moves. Okay. And that'll dry clear, so it's a little messy now, but it'll be alright. So I fit 4 of them on this one. And you can use any butterfly you want. I just had this punch. I think anybody who's been scrapbooking for several years has the Martha Stewart butterfly punches, or did it one time. I have been scrapbooking for 16 years, but I just got my own scrapbook room like 8 years ago. So I've really been scrapbooking for about 6 to 8 years. Alright, so we're going to let those guys dry. Up here with the big guy. Let's talk. Let's put this up. There we go. Let's talk charm here. So I have This is just like a costume jewelry necklace. Like you can get these at anywhere. You can get them at probably the dollar store with some charm on it. So I took it apart to take the charm off, and here's the ring that was on it. I'm going to put it back on. And my needle nose pliers are for. I cut it with a pair of snips. Now, thread the chain through there, and that eyelet is big enough that it just stays. And I come in the middle, thread the other side back through, and then this is the lobster clasp that was on it. And I have some jump rings here. You can buy jump rings for hardly nothing. Oriental Trading has them. Anywhere that they have beading has them. You just take the split jump ring. Okay. So I take the jump ring, put it on the lobster clasp from the jewelry. Hook it into one of the loops and bend it back. If you can't bend it by hand, grab your snips and just don't push so hard. Just enough to hold it, not to snip it. Okay. Now you can just snap it on there. Now this won't be removable unless you get that back out, because the lobster clasp or this large jump ring on the end won't go through the thingies. Okay, so now we have this little chain to work with. I cut a piece of all the seam binding that matches, and I'm going to tie those on. Oops. I'm getting mixed up in my... I have some black eyelash trim. Some of the ones I use for the tags. This is silver ribbon I got with one of my other kits, Country Craft Creation Cells, and then just some black lace. No idea what's gonna fit, so I just take and start tying them in knots. Around the chain. And you could have used ribbon for that too, but I'm going to put some charms on it also. And there's more than one way to put on a charm. Like if you wanted to use ribbon and you didn't want to do all that, you can use ribbon and then put your charms on just by using these little pins. And then you can tie the ends of each one of those off like we did the closure. Putting some eyelash trim on it just adds like a different texture. And then the same with the lace. This one's a little too big, but we're going to use it anyways. We'll get her on there. Okay, I think that makes for a nice little dangly. Okay, and then let's put, I have this silver thing, but I don't think I need it with all this happening. I have these 2 beads that I had in my stash. So let's go ahead and put these on. And I just put them right on the chain. And then use the needle nose to smash that in together. If I can. Okay, there. Good, good. And then the rest of these pretty much the same way. Now these have eyelets on both sides. So what I'm going to do is, instead of undoing the eyelet to put it on, I'm just going to use jump rings. And then on the bottoms I'm going to put these stars. And then for my butterfly, which I think is dry, I'm going to use this hook. Super easy safety pin right through that eyelet. And then just pick one of the ribbons to stick it through. I think I'll use the blue one here. And the butterfly will look like it is flying, kind of, sort of, like that. And that one's not even connected. So I need 6 jump rings for this, for these other beads. Putting the star on, and I'm going to put the star on the side with the bigger bead. And you just got to make sure that those 2 meet the 2 ends, otherwise your stuff will fall right off. And I just use these star charms because it's called Moonchild. I had a wolf charm and I thought about it, but there were no wolf references in the paper collection, so I stayed away from that. But it's an idea if you like that. Oopsie. I have a bad habit of breaking my nails when I do this because I don't want to get the correct tools out. There it is. Oh, he doesn't have one on the end. Alright, well I guess I get 2 stars, not 3. Okay. And you just do the same for the top part. And one more here. I guess I could use that one. I'll go ahead and put that on even though it doesn't have a star on it. How about that? There we go. And then this jump ring here that I already had started. And you can always take like a longer chain and run it down from the lobster clasp, and then you can have your charms hanging all the way down the spine. That is definitely another option if you don't want all the charms bunched up at the top. I'll do that on my next one that I do a charm on, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So many things to show. Alright, so there's the dangle. So you guys like it. I'm gonna tie those ends off. Okay, so now all we have left are the tags to attend with, and I have this is all the paper I have left. I have this, I have these 2 3x4 cut aparts. I didn't want to put those in there because of what they say, but we can always use the back too. And then I have these, oh, you know, I forgot to put on my chart. Let's put this on the, let's hang this from the closure here. Like right there. How about that? I'll just undo this. I have to undo that too. Let's see. It's a pretty good size hole there, so got it. So how would I do this? Go ahead and put it in the same place that I wanted to put it, but we'll use it with a pin instead. There, I like that. Last 2 tags, guys. And I'm out of cut aparts that will fit, so I am going to just use these scraps. And I just happen to find enough scraps with butterfly images on them. And I also distress these in the Dusty Concord. And you could have, the other thing we could have done is fussy cut the butterflies out. That would have been neat. Didn't think about it till just now. Alright, here we are. So, 2 tags. I put him on there upside down, or no problem. All right. That tag, I did not have him on there upside down. He was the right way. Doggone it. I don't have any more cut aparts here, so I'm gonna fix this one. Okay, here. Okay. There we go. The big tag goes on the bottom. The skinny tag goes on the top. And that one is the same. I have this little paper clip here, but I can't put it there because then the tag won't come out. I want to put it somewhere though because I think it looks neat. Alright, there you have it, folks. Get in there. There. What do you think? I think I like it. Alright, I'm going to do the share video and we'll get this thing rolling. Alright, I thank you guys for watching, and be sure you like, subscribe, comment below. Go to Country Craft Creations and grab this beautiful collection. It is the Prima Moonchild collection. We'll see you later. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.